Welcome to BizTech's Startup Show, where we feature startup companies across industries as they build and scale their businesses. Now, today's featured company is Insightz Club and its co-founder, Mritunjay Kumar. Now, welcome to the show, MJ.
Thanks for having me here, Brian.
MJ, walk us through what Insight Club does.
Wow, so great question, Brian. Well, we at Insights Club deliver highly personalized insights for marketing. And how do we do this? We bring various sources of data, and the data can be your sales data, data can be your user data, data can be your media data, and also some sort of behavioral and passive data. So we bring various sources of data together with one piece and then help and provide insights to the brand, which helps them to drive faster, better, and smarter decision while planning their marketing campaign, while planning their marketing strategy. So that's what we do as a company.
Now, what inspired you and your co-founder to start Insight's Club?
I have been into insights industry for more than 15 years, ever since I started my career, so as my partner. So
Mhm.
I worked for brands like Kantar, Nielsen, Milbert Brown, TNS in past, and they are the global market research
Yep.
insights providers, where my partner has worked extensively in a space like e-commerce, media, analytics. So while working with these brands at a different role, different markets, different capacity, we felt that the way industry or the way digitization has been has happened, and the way we are using our data are not in sync with each other. So there is a huge need for a disruption, and hence we thought of starting Insights Club.
Okay. So now let me ask you this. Took a look at your customer base. It seems to be very telco and banking centric. Now, talk us through how one of your customers will use your products and solutions.
Well, we do work across, we are industry agnostic, number one. So we are not just telco or banking, but we do work for telcos, banking, FMCG, beverage brands, retail brands, aviation industry, hospitality. So we work across. So we are very sector agnostic, number one.
Okay.
Now, how do we do this? Definitely, traditionally the big brands are the one who has been using insights and are still heavy user of data. So what do they do? We have our tools, we have agility, we have people who are experienced enough to understand, and we have solutions like brand health tracking solutions. We have solutions like measuring your marketing effectiveness, your advertising tracking solutions. We
Mhm.
have solutions like understanding of the point of purchase occasion by the consumer. So these are the use case. These are the branded solutions we work for our brand across all the marketing journey, and that's what we do. We do see that our solution cannot just fit only for the MNC or the big brand, but it can also give much more support and help to the SMEs and startups, because they might not have enough data crunching capabilities. They might not have ability to read data, where they may have millions of problems and everyone is looking to grow. So we are a kind of a growth enabler. So
Okay.
we come for startup or SMEs where we can give them insights within 42 hours, 48 to 72 hours kind of a journey, when they know, and that gives them bit of a go no go kind of a outcome. So we work across all set of brands, all set of industry, and we are very sector agnostic.
So this is these are SaaS solutions.
Yes.
And what's your revenue model at the moment? So it seems that while you have very large customers, you are now looking to target SMEs.
Yes. So our revenue models are few. One is definitely, you pay as you go, as you come, and then you have another revenue model is where we offer a lot of subscription-based solutions. So as a brand, you may be at a different stage of a brand. You are at the idea stage, you are at a concept development stage, you are at a content development stage, you may at a brand journey stage, you may at a branding stage, you may at a purchase stage. So depending upon the situation you are at the brand, we offer different marketing solutions, and we charge them accordingly. So we have a robust set of 8 to 9 different marketing solutions which fits into most of the marketing journey, and we have been doing quite well so far.
Okay, so who is your competition right now?
Well, there are, if you look at the insights industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry
Yeah.
globally. And traditionally, brands like Kantar or Milbert Brown or TNS or Ipsos, all these guys are ruling this industry ever since I started working. So when I say competition, they are part of the pie. But when
Yes.
it comes to differentiation, well, what makes me different from them is they don't offer behavioral, we offer behavioral, which gives me different perspective, different understanding of the consumer sentiment. And I'll tell you, it is what the future-proof approach to me and for the industry looks like. Because there was always a need of an alternate solution in past ever since I started working for all these traditional market research industry. And there has been some disruption in past, like your face-to-face methodology became telephonic, some telephonic became online, but it's still incremental change. But
Yes.
so what we do, what have been the past experience was that you design your information area, you design your questions, then you go to consumer, then you ask, and then you analyze. Now, what we are trying to change that, I'm getting away from asking and then understanding more data by how consumers are behaving passively. So
Okay.
think of a situation where, Brian, I have to ask you a lot many questions in order to understand your lifestyle, in order to understand your psychographic, in order to understand your demographic, in order to understand your the way you live. Now, Brian is using many apps, right? You
Yes.
use ride-hailing services, you use e-commerce services, you use food delivery services. You book your movie tickets using a mobile app, right? So everything what you do, you use your mobile phone. Now, you watch Facebook, you watch YouTube, you watch Netflix, you watch lots of OTT content using your. So do I really need to ask Brian about it, or I just ask Brian, hey, why don't you share me your information, and then I understand. Now, in return, what Brian will get, you will have, you will know what sort of data you are sharing it to me. Number one. So there is a transparency will give you a lot more confidence. Number
Mhm.
two, you will be paid every time when you share some information, some data to me. So that's where you are also monetizing your data.
But okay, but isn't that okay? That's an interesting idea because basically Facebook and Google, for example, get your data for free and you don't get any money for it. So you are giving them
Absolutely.
incentive,
Absolutely.
which is very interesting. However, will that then skew the data because you are giving them an incentive to provide you with data?
It will not skew because we try to bring multiple set of people. So we do have some different scheme. Rather, probably for Brian, money may not matters a lot, but probably you would want to plant a tree, and you can donate your incentive in order to participate your contribution in the society. So that's also a way to monetize. So we
Okay, that's a
bring.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
that
basically
great,
people want
great
to
to
do good. So your
yes,
your data is you're using it as a social benefit to others
absolutely,
to
absolutely.
incentivize people. That's
Yes.
excellent.
So we
Now,
do have multiple, we do have various approaches because we do understand that certain people might need money, certain people might need want to be known, more empowerment, data empowerment, right? I'll give you an example. Look, Instagram, probably you spend 1 hour or 2 hours in a week every week on Instagram. But do you know, is it what you should be spending or what others like you in the category are spending? So that gives you a bit of a perspective. Where do you stand in terms of your data? Where do you stand in terms of your community? So that gives you a little bit of a transparency, little bit of a visibility of what you do, how do you do, and that brings you a bit of a, you become, you empowered, and you know how to use it.
now, MJ, that's very, very interesting because essentially what you're saying is, which turns the whole data gathering and market research model on its head. So if I could summarize, basically the target audience not only is incentivized, but also gets to share in the data,
Yes.
the aggregated, and again, aggregated data, because I got to ask you this, data privacy is obviously top of mind.
Yeah.
So now with this data, which is then aggregated and blinded, how do you ensure that the data is not compromised?
Well, that's one of our utmost priority because it's important to take care of your information, right? So one, what we do, we bring lot more transparency into it, so you can decide to share or not share each information which you are comfortable with. So that
Okay.
allows you to be in much more control. So say a consumer can decide not to share data about Tinder usage versus share data about LinkedIn usage. So
Okay.
that is where, allow you, and then you can always control. So, we are making you in control of your data in a way.
I think that's really hitting a sweet spot with all the concerns about data
Oh,
privacy.
yeah, yeah.
So MJ, let's zoom out again and take a macro look at this. What are there's so much of talk about digitization and big data and businesses, and whether large and small. I think the pandemic has really accelerated the adoption of the need for digitization and also the adoption for more data. Can you just kind of walk us through what are the key industry trends now in this area in terms of big data and analytics?
I mean, if you hear me out, I mean, big data is overly used terms to me, very, very overly used terms because you it has been a time where big data was really in demand. We are still part of the big data. Now, what I see, which probably brands or the marketeers are looking for, not the big data, but more of a macro data, because
Okay.
consumers are very mindful. They are not usually, they know what they want, and you can't really get away with your consumer demand, consumer need, consumer sentiment. So understanding consumer sentiment and nowadays become difficult because your purchases are very impulse. You buy. There are many factors which drives your decision, and it can be your promos, it can be the brand you love it, somewhere the brand you desire to buy, or also, or maybe your current economic situation. So what I see, the trend would be not looking at in overall, but more specific micro segment,
Mhm.
even as deeper as you can, and that's where you need behavioral piece to bring that information, bring that insights to really understand better consumer sentiment.
Now, MJ, how much revenue are you doing right now?
We closed 2 million USD last year,
Oh,
and
that's very
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah, we have closed 2 million USD last year, and we are growing, even growing year on year. So we are 3.5-year-old startup. We
Mhm.
are closing to go, closing 4 years in next 3 months, 4 months now. And last year was pretty good year to us because we grew during the pandemic time, and that's the great example of how a technology or innovation and the piece of behavioral data can bring disruption to the industry. So we grew last year as well.
Now, you started off, as you said, you're coming up to your fourth year in your entrepreneurial journey. You were funded initially by Telstra.
That's right.
Now, what is your funding plan and who are your current investors?
So we have couple of institutional investors on board ever since we started, and we are still at we have raised half a million USD at a seed stage.
Okay.
And obviously, being in industry, being in the segment we are in, we have developed a lot more technology last year, and a lot more offerings for the brand. Eventually, this is the year where we are expanding it a lot. So
Okay. So you are
we
expanding. You are currently in Malaysia and Singapore, right?
I am in Malaysia and in Singapore and in Vietnam. So
And
we
Vietnam.
have, yeah. So we just started our office in Vietnam last month.
Okay. And what are your expansion plans now? So you said this is the year you need to expand.
So expansion plans are like we want to be in most of the Southeast Asian countries by end of this year or early next year, including Thailand, Indonesia, and Philippines. And then look out for more expansion in next 3 to 4 years, and then go global, including US, Europe, India, China, etc.
Okay. So MJ, you're in the, as you said, the fourth year of your entrepreneurial journey. What have been the key challenges that have faced inside Club so far, and how have you overcome them?
I mean, there has been millions of challenges, Brian, honestly, you know, and I mean, I would say that when I and my partner have started working for it, you won't believe, me and him has been working at a Starbucks of coffee shop for 6 months because we didn't have office. We used to go to a Starbucks in the morning, and then we used to finish our work late in the evening, and then that's Starbucks was our office place. So
Right.
there has been a millions of problems, millions of challenges. What makes us is we have always been focused, and we to take one problem at a time to fix it and then go next. Because if you get stuck with one problem and then you kind of not, probably you leave it and then pick up something else and then do it. So there has been various problems at a various stage, including getting initial funding, getting right set of talent, getting exposure to the brand, adoption of the product, getting user installing our mobile app, sharing data. There has been millions of problems, but what I would say that we are still fighting with it.
Now, what a final question, MJ. With all these problems and these challenges that you've gone through, what are three key business lessons you have learned that you can share with other business leaders?
I mean, never ever give up, which is basically, I would say everybody will have this attitude when you start or when you jump into it. So it's, at times you might feel that it's not in your control, but never stop. Keep giving your best.
Mhm.
Things may not be the way you expect, may not be, results are not the way you are looking at, because results are driven by various factors. But I would say stick to what you want. Second would be always be open with ideas, because what I have started in 2017, Brian, is not I am doing today. I
Yeah.
have evolved, and thanks to my mentor, thanks to my clients, thanks to my investors, thanks to all people work, all my employees. I hear them really well. And I always believed in that, what I make is not what is going to be in market. We have to make what is going to be in market is what they want eventually. So I have to be open enough to pivot and enhance and provide and update. So that's the key. Never ever stick to what you have. You have to always evolve. You have to always upgrade. And third most important thing, idea has no value, to be honest. If you ask me, idea can be, come in the morning and die in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So, any idea has a value if you execute it. So focus on execution. That's critical for any business. So, I mean, these are the three key I can share from me. Definitely, there are many. Maybe I'll have to think about it.
MJ, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
I'm glad to be here, Brian, and thanks. It was pleasure talking to you. Thanks a lot for having me here.
I'm Brian Fernandez. I've been speaking to Insight's Club and its co-founder, Mritunjay Kumar, on BizTech's Startup Show. Check out www.biztech.asia for business and technology conversations.